Okay, so today I have a DIT job down in Los Angeles. My call time is 6 a.m. And it's about an hour and 45 minute to 2 hour drive. So right now it is 3:40 a.m. and none of the drive-throughs are able to take the van, and I can't go into the stores because they're not open. So that means no coffee. I'm going to try and take you guys along today and see what a day in the life of a DIT is like. It's going to be an interesting shoot. This is a brand new crew for a commercial project. I really don't know a whole lot about it. And the project has a few unique asks that is not something that I get on a typical narrative set, but this is a commercial. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. Got a couple different wireless systems in play today. Have a total rebuild, cleaning up of the actual flight case for the computer on the cart. And yeah, it should be a good day. All right, so I just got to set. I'm about 30 minutes early, which is one of the costs of living out of town. But it's 5:30 in the morning. There's one other person here, so I'm gonna go out and poke my head around and see where we're filming. And first, I wanted to give you a look of kind of what's going on in the van.
All right, so now we're in the van and I have my new power system that I've added in. It's not finished, got to get the walls, but this allowed me to have lights and the fan's running, which made it a lot easier to do the actual prep in the van instead of having to do it at home or on set. So I can show up with the card I'll build. The monitor always kind of flops around no matter what I do, but everything by and large is ready on the top deck here. Kind of just gets jostled around, but down here, the computer and all of my power kind of just sits perfectly. So that when I arrive on set like this, I'm ready to go. I have a director's monitor to set up, but I'm self-sufficient with power, with an individual Wi-Fi network, got my utility bag, so I can get set up. As soon as camera hands me the card reader, I'm pretty much dialed in. We're shooting on the RE35 this time, which uses a codex reader. And then they're sending a signal to me using a Teradek system, and then I'm pulling that, ingesting it, and then outputting using the Hollyland Pyro S series. I've been really satisfied with that for the price point. You can't beat it. There are much better transmission systems than if you were going to use, I don't know, if you were pulling focus, I might go with something a little bit different, but for client monitoring and things like that, it's less than a frame. And it's a really nice system for the price and allows me to have multiple sets of transmitters. Director's in one room, but the client is in another state. You can see I'm set up here. I got camera department next to me, so we're all dialed in. And I'm actually sending a live feed to another state for the client to be able to watch what we're doing. Art department built a grocery store set in this gym so that we could do both of our setups. And now I've got kind of the look dialed in at this point, so I'm going ahead and adjusting the monitors to have a not clean feed. I'm trying to put out an actual look so that the log footage coming from the RE doesn't bore people, I guess. It's a beautiful camera, but you definitely want some kind of a look on it for agency to know what they're looking at. So I'm generating that here while our gaffer, Justin, is adjusting the last looks on our second setup of the day. And the beauty of this setup is once we're done recording, I'm able to just unplug from the wall, kick off the brakes, and wheel outside and continue working while production is striking the set. So we had one last shot of the day that you'll see here that is outside. And I was able to still power myself until I was ready to push into the cart at the wrap and do the last little bit of work on set. Okay, I'm back in the van now. At the end of the day, I have the last card. So now I'm going to go ahead and ingest it. And to do that, I'm going to go to Offshoot by Hedge. Has all of my stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and add that as my source. And I'm now going to add my transfers. It's going to go ahead,
take about 8 minutes, and it's going to go very quickly. And then now it's going to actually take that, ingest it into the report, and it's going to also take that and put it into proxies for generation. So it's kind of a one-stop shop, and just rattles through everything else. It makes it very, very easy to work with. So all right, so that was the on-set portion of my day. Call time was 6 a.m. and I'm officially on the road. It's about 4:30 p.m. Bit of a short day. Normally, at the DIT, you're one of the last people out because you have to do that last card and everything, which was the case today, except for art department, which bummer to them. But I've got a long ride home during rush hour traffic in Los Angeles, so I will check back in with you guys when I make it home. So I'm back from the shoot. I am now in the van in my driveway because I don't want to unload it and reload it. And I'm now doing the last few steps that I have for the day. And sometimes I'll do this on set if I have the time. And other times I just don't have the time on set. So what I am doing now is I'm going through all of the clips that we shot today, each individual take, making sure all the metadata is listed, and then I am actually putting that into a burn-in on a file, exporting all the clips as one big long video, and then going to be uploading that via Frame.io to our agency so that they can see all of the footage that we captured. And this is called dailies. If you're familiar with that term, this is what I'm generating. And I tend to do one long roll with burn-ins on this, as well as proxies. Some people make proxies and call those dailies. I like dailies to be something that's so small that you can download it on your phone and watch it really easily. All right, heading down for day 2 of 2. It's currently 5:20 in the morning. 8 a.m. call time. I should have time to get there. We're in a residential area, so you always have to kind of plan being able to offload. And traditionally, as a DIT, I try to work with production to have my call be later than most people's. And it's not because I want to sleep in. It's actually because at the end of the day, like you saw with last night, I have more work to do after the wrap is done and I get the last car. And if you have me there at the same time as everyone else and we work a full 12 hours and I still have 2 hours to do what needs to be done at the end, you're going to pay me overtime. So it makes more sense. But on this particular shoot, because we're managing a live stream, I'm having to show up at the same time. I try to, as I'm driving, go through my expectations of the day and what problems might arise, what solutions I'm going to have to it. And I think all the way through to my wrap out, because let's face it, there's a lot of things that can go wrong into the day. And I'll kind of walk you through, to the best of my ability, the process of being on set today, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, so showing up to the location, we were parked about a block away, and I had to do all of my prep before. And it's really important to try and think through everything that you're going to need to bring, so you're not walking back and forth the whole time. But you have a limited amount of space. Some people DIT off of like a table, and that's totally fine. You can. I've just been a huge proponent of carts since I was running a Harbor Freight Rubbermaid knockoff cart in 2010, just because it's nice to be able to take everything at once. So I bring my own chair, I bring my own stingers. I try to be as self-sufficient as possible. I even have a solar generator that can run my cart for about 10, 11 hours. So G&E really loves me because if they need to repatch, I'm not in the way. But you still, you don't want to take everything and take up a whole bunch of room. And today we were in a residential neighborhood, so we had to be kind of respectful of everyone's time and parking. So we were parked on another street, walking everything over. If you take up that whole sidewalk, people are not going to be happy with you. There's that old story of people in LA waiting till production's about to start and starting their leaf blower with their hand out, waiting for a $100 bill.
I would do
It's
the
not that
sidewalk.
bad anymore, but I think that's also because crews have been able to be smaller, quieter, more nimble. You don't have a giant power plant in the way, and you just want to make sure that we're helping out crews in the future by not being in the way. I have it to where I can unload entirely by myself and then get to set, and yeah, it works pretty well.
Okay, so got the cart loaded in, got us a little spot. Jeannie's running me a Stinger right now. I am walking back to my van. There's no crew parking on set. We're gonna have to be kind of tucked away. So I'm getting some SDI cable. I'm gonna do about a 50-foot run to get the transmitter and receiver in line of sight. I'll pull from there. And it's gonna be a hectic day for camera, but not for me. So should be a nice day. And there's a bunny. What's up, little guy? And this is something that I learned from a friend of mine named Jeremiah. There's this over reliance on wireless systems, and it's risky. So I always have about 200 feet of 3G SDI cable in the van, and it really helps for those times when you need a solid signal. So I highly recommend. It's not cheap, but this doesn't have connection issues. And so my van is parked over there. Got the vents open so it's not too hot when I get back. And our location is all the way at the end of this street. So come and take a walk with me.
And yeah, you're never going to know everything that happens. On this particular set, I ended up being less of a DIT, more of like a data wrangler and VTR at the same time. I wasn't exactly kitted for that, but you try to make sure that you can find a way around it. And this is me running a line to our Teradek receiver and remembering that I want to support that cable. So I put a little cable relief and then no good. So I had to go back to my cart. I've got the sound op, the AD, and the first AC all hanging out with me in the garage. So I had to grab my little 90-degree connector. It's really, really important. These transmitters are very, very expensive, and if someone were to trip on your cable and yank on it, or the stand were to fall, that's a sacrificial $5 part, as opposed to about a $180 cable and about a $3,500 transmitter. So we'd like to lose that sacrificial part instead. Plus, it just makes it a lot cleaner, and I've got that cable running behind the G&E cart, and this allows me to move the transmitter throughout the day as we're moving throughout this house further and further into the interior. I can make sure that I maintain a solid connection, which works out pretty well. And then I am already wrapped because the day got a little out of hand.
All right. It's a terrible angle, but I am walking back to my van after a stressful but successful day. I'll recap with what happened in a moment.
So I'll be making a series of videos of each step-by-step job that a DIT does on the day. But the number one thing that you do as a DIT is make sure that you are there to serve the production and make things happen. This position came out of cameras becoming something that they needed an actual technician, someone who understood things like bit rates and formats and like the computer side as opposed to the art side. And that has really stayed a main staple of this industry and this particular job is making sure you're there to facilitate the creative needs of the camera team by providing technical support. On this particular shoot, I did a lot of managing live streams and communicating with client and back and forth between the director and the AD. And it didn't leave a whole lot of time for pulling the iris or monitoring scopes, but we still got a really good image at the end of the day. I made sure that the primary duty of facilitating camera and then also providing the backup and transcodes to editorial was done. And overall, it was a pretty successful 2-day commercial shoot. This was for a client that hired me off of staffmeup.com. So I just want to take this moment to let you guys all know, if you do need a digital image technician, media management, VTR, all that goodness, I am available for hire in the Southern California area. I'll throw my number up on the screen. Go ahead and reach out with any projects you have. And I'd love to help make sure that your images are as good looking as possible and that your footage is secure. Thanks for watching.